Hi, welcome back to part two of an update on the trade show for Playtime Paris. So you guys had quite a lot of questions of extra things you wanted to know, and I thought what would be really good is just to kind of take you through how the show went, because I did the show 2.5, nearly 3 weeks ago now. So tell you how it went, what I learned, and try and answer some of the questions that you guys asked. So hopefully you'll find it helpful. If you haven't seen part one was obviously about me preparing to go to Playtime Paris trade show. So first of all, how did the show go? So the show went really, really well. Super pleased that I put all the effort in to preparing for it and planning and setting the stage in. So that was really, really good. There weren't really any huge surprises. Definitely yes, if they'll have me, please. Because the volume of buyers coming through was insane. Dot to Dot London was an amazing show, but it just, and even Bubble was a really good show, but it just didn't have the volume of buyers. Day one, the first day, we had buyers from kind of really far-flung places. So we saw there was definitely at the show a lot of Japanese, Korean, Taiwanese, Chinese buyers from all over. Day two, we got a lot of European boutique, and then Monday was a lot more kind of European big stores. It might be different from January to July, but in my opinion it was good because you were getting on the radar of people who otherwise it would be very hard to find and approach. Now I was given, and I won't tell you who by, someone who probably should have known better gave me some really poor advice when I was looking at planning the stand, and they said to me, don't worry about the stand, people keep it really simple and they just put a rail up or a simple table and put their stuff up. Now, had I listened to that advice, I would have been crying into my soup, basically, because I arrived at the show quite late on the setup day due to kind of all manner of delays and all kinds of things. Weirdly enough, we were right at the back of one side, but we came in, we were shepherded in through the door through the other, so we had to walk in past everyone else's stand that was basically set up, walking past all the massive stands like Bobo Chose's, Gardner and the Gang, all the Tiny Cottons, like all the major names. We had to walk past everyone's stand that was all set up, and they were so beautiful. Everyone really goes all out. Definitely not a case of putting a rail in a corner and hoping for the best. Like, that just really wouldn't wash. So I'm very glad that my gut instinct said ignore that person's advice. My personal take on it would be definitely do put into the planning. It is worth it. People really expect a high caliber of stand. In saying that, the actual stands themselves were pretty shoddy quality in terms of the stand, and when I say that I mean the actual wall partitions were so flimsy. For you as an exhibitor, putting stuff up is an absolute blooming nightmare. we had this moment where we were like, oh my gosh, everyone's stand looks so beautiful, how is our stand going to look this beautiful? We get to our stand, I lean some of the pictures up against the shelves and like line them all up. It was like one of the first things I did when I got there. And we'd carried these big glass frames all the way from Norwich to Paris. We kept them safe, they were like perfect. I leant it on the wall, I bent down to pick something up. The guy on the other side of our stand hit it with a hammer, and the picture fell smack and smashed on me and broke, and it was a bit of a disaster, really. There were tears, there was a lot of shock, there was a lot of glass, and there was a couple of phone calls home while I panicked about how we were going to fix the frame and the picture and everything else. Anyway, we sorted it out, but they don't take wall plugs. you can basically nail things in and that's it. You can put some things up with double-sided tape if they're quite small. Some people manage to hold pictures up with double-sided tape. Our stuff with double-sided tape just didn't stand up. We were opposite like a heating vent and it just dried all the moisture out the sticky. So my advice would be use nails. Or if you're using tape, don't use tape for heavy things. Take a lot of double-sided tape with you. And in the pictures, our display is lots of shelves. And they're just like the IKEA shelves, and you know, we've got them at home. They're not particularly tricky to put up, but I'd heard the walls could be tricky. So I investigated. Every show will normally have a carpenter, every big show. I rang up with about 10 days to spare and I just said, look, I really would like shelves to put up. How much would it be for someone to put the shelves up? Bearing in mind, I think we had 18 shelves. Quote came back and it was €120 for someone to put those shelves up for me. So I paid the money to have the shelves put up for me. So that would just be something I would recommend. When you purchase the stand, this is really funny. You basically get the wall, but you don't get a carpet and you don't get a wall covering. You know, again, they're like another kind of 75 quid each. And you know, I picked wall covering and I picked carpet because I just thought, what if it's not great when I get there? I'm really glad I did do that because the wall quality itself was like a rough grey plaster. So for my aesthetic, which was like a really clean aesthetic, it just didn't work. If you had a kind of urban, slightly more gritty feel, it could work. Of all the stands that were there, and I can't remember, there's probably like 500 stands or so, I only personally saw 2 that had their walls uncovered, and it did fit with the brand. What else? Setup. Oh, the other big thing is furniture. So particularly on the small stands, you definitely need a table and 2 chairs because you are obviously going to probably have your laptop or a notepad. Someone's going to want to come and sit and chat to you, and you definitely need that. Beyond that, on that stand, once you've got a table and 2 chairs, you can't really get anything else in. You know, you'll get you'll definitely get like a rail of clothes or maybe even 2 rails, but you won't get any more furniture or storage. So that's something to bear in mind. I actually ordered an extra chair and I think a stool and something else, a round table. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking people are probably gonna need to sit down. Anyway, I didn't need them, and when you don't use them, you don't get that money back. So yeah, table and 2 chairs, fine. I think the thing that I wasn't prepared for, and this was quite different to Dot to Dot, and also quite different to other shows I've attended as a buyer myself, was that on the first day, the doors opened and the buyers were literally there, and we were right at the back in the corner. We had people ordering from us at 9:40. So that we were a little bit unprepared for, that kind of very quick in the morning buy mentality. We weren't prepared to basically have people queuing up to talk to us from the minute the doors open. Yeah, be prepared. Like, make sure you've had your coffee or your breakfast or whatever. The other thing was the doors opened about 45 minutes before let us guys in. We took everything off the walls the night before and we put it down because things were falling overnight and breaking. So that's a really good tip. And I guess the other tip would be when you finish on the last day, you have to completely clean that wall. You have to get all the screws out, all the nails out, and get rid of the stuff, like if you're not taking it with you. For us, again, we got a quote for someone to do that. It cost €30 for someone to come and take it all down. In my opinion, that was a really good €30 spent, because what it meant was we packed up the product, we put it in the bag, and we went straight to Gardiner for the train. It meant we could get on an early train. So that was a really good tip. Yes, you can. If that's your situation and you need to do it on your own, you definitely can. I'm not going to lie though, it's going to be tough. There were definitely people there who had a small stand like myself and were covering it on their own, but it is really hard work. I had Caitlin with me, you might have seen her on some of the videos. And it just meant that for some of the kind of like the lugging of stuff, getting things there, and just being able to kind of like nip to the loo or go and get something to eat, that was really helpful. So if you could have someone to join you, I definitely would. So after Paris, there is a toy show in Nuremberg, and then there's another children's show in Copenhagen. So quite a lot of the big international buyers, what they do is they come in, they do Paris, they do Nuremberg, and they do Copenhagen. So actually it's almost like 10 days before you're starting to hear back from people, and then it's almost like, right, everyone's back in the office and all the emails start coming through. So for me, I was like quite aware of people going on to other shows. Having been a buyer myself, I know there's no point emailing people, buyers, information when they're like traveling and super busy, because they literally don't need it. So people who'd asked for things directly, I sent over all the stuff, so they had it all there. They had it all kind of the same day basically as they'd asked for it. And then I waited about a week, and then I did phone call follow-ups with everyone and just kind of got an understanding of where they were, when they wanted me to contact them, all that kind of stuff. And then we followed it with all the orders. So anyway, let me know what you think. If there's any other questions or anything else you want to know, then just, yeah, write them below or message me, and let me know what other videos you would like. Yeah, that's it. See you soon. Bye.